Hey builders, Brick Ratty up here with a new custom Lego video, this time straight from the Land Down Under, from the Outback. I have my order from Classic Minifigs. Here's their nice company sticker, somewhat reminiscent of the Star Wars logo with some yellow and black, which is very fitting for some of the items that I got. Here are all the figures and parts that I ordered, a little bit more organized. Their item that really caught my eye, which caused me to buy from them, is their Bladerunner 2049 set there. Let's start with the parts and then we'll get into the figures. The first item here is a set of Imperial credits. You get 9 different tiles, it looks like, in a couple of different colors. It looks like some in gray, some in a metallic gold, and a couple of different tan colors. These are some clean prints and could be very useful for any sort of bounty hunter build that you might have. Like you can see here with Mando and Max Rebo, I think this could be really cool for an Imperial build. Creating some sort of vault like what was seen in Andor, or just having different characters in the background, trading some currency. Another fun piece that I got is this torso here with the Lego projectile warning that is seen in instructions. Just printing on the one side. I just thought this was a very funny piece to have. Just getting a closer look to see what the quality of printing is. It is very solid and pad printed like Lego uses for their own figures. Kind of funny to see something like this on a physical piece. And lastly, I got 2 different sets of their Star Wars light panel bricks. Here are just a couple of Stormtrooper minifigures thrown in between these light panels. And I do think it is a very good fit. Unfortunately, looking at reference images of these from Star Wars, there's only supposed to be 5 rows of light, where these have 3 on each one, so you'd have 6 total. It is a minor inaccuracy. I guess it kind of makes sense. When you're printing it, you do want it to stand alone, and if you wanted to have 5, you'd have to print 2.5 on each one, which might not look super great. Lego themselves have done these sort of detailings, but with stickers, and having a pad printed piece like this is a very good improvement. And you can just see how clear that these do end up being, even though that they are white printing on a darker piece with it being dark gray instead of light gray. Lego tends to have problems printing on darker colors like this, especially with white, and it doesn't even look like there's any gray peeking through. So it just shows that this company does have some quality printing. These are the last couple of parts. Let's get into the minifigures I got. One of the figures I'm very excited to have gotten is Rebel Friend here. Looks like they have a pretty interesting packaging setup here with a cardboard backing with their printing on it. Some different warnings. No projectile warning on this, is just kind of funny. I got all of these from classicminifigs.com. Link will be in the description. And like I said, it's from Australia. And this package is really cool. The cardboard just comes out and you can take the figure out. That way you can reuse this packaging if you really want to, which I think is really great. Here's Rebel Friend on my stand. Comes with the Rebel helmet that Lego's made. Also a simplified print of the Death Star plans. One of the things I've kind of noticed about their figures now that they're out of the packaging, their face prints are a little bit off. It looks like they're a little bit on the bigger side. Fortunately, I don't have the helmet for it, but here's one of my childhood Rebel figures, and you can kind of see it there. Everything's a little too wide, maybe. Printing on the torso is a little bit off too, where the lines are a lot thicker. Maybe that is just sort of the limitation of a smaller operation like this one. But it is really cool to have a figure of this, just being one of those really popular Star Wars characters from the video game. And I'm going to quick throw this head onto this, just so you can see what it looks like. Here it is with that on. And I wish I had the newest version of the Rebel figure just so I could show what that looks like. I think this would definitely fit more in a Lego collection. I looked up some reference images and it seems like it is kind of accurate to the video game, but it looks like the mouth is too low to the chin strap. But it is interesting the chin strap goes underneath the head a little bit, so it ends up working a bit more as a chin strap than a slightly bottom of the head strap like this one. I don't know. What do you guys think? Which one's better? I do kind of like this one because it seems a bit more Lego-like. But since I have this head, I'll probably just keep it on this figure. Next figure here is a bit of a meme. I got the Patrick Bateman. This packaging came up a little bit dinged in the envelope, which normally I'd be kind of bummed about, but since this packaging is so easy to open, not a big deal. I'm going to be opening it anyway. At the end of the day, this did its job by protecting the figure, which is great. I definitely appreciate their packaging. Not only are their figures in those clamshell type packagings, they're in the bags, which also have tape in them. So there's a lot of extra security compared to some other companies. So here's this Patrick Bateman figure on the stand. Has two classic accessories. It's phone and also his axe for when he's listening to some Huey Lewis. And this is where the company's name just kind of shows, with this figure looking very classic, like older Lego figures might. Has sunglasses, very reminiscent to the old Lego head, and just a very simple suit with the suspenders going on both sides. And it is very fitting for this figure, especially from the meme of this character from the movie. I also have another sunglass head I'll show off, and it is another classic style sunglass head. This one is from Minifigures. Maybe these sunglasses are a bit more proportional, having them side by side. Do kind of wish that these sunglasses had the, I guess, arms sticking out, so it would go out to the hairpiece. I do really like the size of these glasses over the one that came with the figure though. And it is interesting to see their options that they have in their store. They have a couple different of the "that's literally me" meme type figures, like the Joker, which I was on the fence about getting, but didn't end up buying just because I have so many Joker figures already. It is interesting to get this figure. Citizen Brick also has a version of this character, probably in a slightly different outfit, but that one is very rare and expensive. But it is great to get this in a somewhat cheap option. And for the last two figures, I have this Bladerunner 2049 set here. Let's crack it open and get one of the figures on the stand. First character here is Ryan Gosling's Bladerunner character. Great blue trench coat, which must be custom. I'm not sure specifically where they got it. And just a nice sweater print on the torso. Again, like I pointed out the other ones, this head looks a bit off compared to Lego. I don't know if it just is that the mouth is too wide. And I'm sure they are just going for some style specifically. Maybe it is supposed to look like it is in the Lego games, I'm not sure. But the torso is definitely great. And you could always swap out this head. Doesn't come with any accessories, unfortunately. It would have been good to get a gun of some sort. But it does come with a fun alternative head that I'll throw on quick. Has a band-aid on the nose and also a streak of blood going on the head, just like in the movie. It has a bright pink because it is having light reflected on it from the giant hologram lady. I do think that this alternative head looks a bit more interesting and kind of takes away from some of the other distracting details from the other one. Do you think this is a decent figure? Let's look at the last one. And like I showed earlier, last character is Ana de Armas's character from Bladerunner 2049. I kind of wish that the characters came separately. I am not super interested in this one, especially since underneath this hair has some questionable printing that I don't want to get my channel in trouble with YouTube. This hairpiece is interesting. It is a painted version of this rubber hairpiece. I've taken it off a couple of times and had a bunch of paint chipped off. You can kind of see it on the edges there. Just unfortunate, but if you're just going to keep the hair on, it's perfectly fine. It is interesting, it is kind of a sturdy feel to it compared to like the rubber where it is a bit more flexible, which probably is working against it, because if you take it off and put it back on, it kind of stretches and it's going to move around, cause the paint to fall off. For this though, again, just simple printing like all the other characters. It's very classic Lego, classic minifigs, you know, haha. The face printing on this one is a bit more normal. Probably helps that it doesn't have like straps or facial hair that's trying to squeeze in there. It's just a simple mouth and some eyes and with the eyelashes. There are some blue eyebrows above it as well. So my overall thoughts on classic minifigs. They definitely have some interesting licensed characters for some great prices. And if you're into Star Wars, they have a lot of great printed pieces that can be used for mocks. And with their stylized printing that matches classic Lego, you're not going to find stuff like this in other stores. Definitely say the standouts for me are these figures on the right there. I haven't really seen a lot of Bladerunner representation outside of Deckard. And also just having a fun meme character like Patrick Bateman is kind of cool. 4 figures that came from Australia. I had really quick shipping, to be honest, and it kind of blows my mind that that can even happen coming from a continent on the other side of the planet for me. So I would definitely recommend checking out the store. Maybe follow them on Instagram to see if they have any figures coming up in the future. If you're into custom Lego, definitely check out my channel. I have a bunch of different videos on it. I've been Brick Radiop. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.